Tonight, inside the world's most secretive nation, North Korea's Supreme Commander Kim Jong-Un is threatening thermonuclear war against the United States. With tensions escalating, Panorama spends 8 days undercover inside the most rigidly controlled nation on Earth.
So, welcome to the real North Korea.
A landscape bleak beyond words, and a regime apparently marching towards Armageddon.
이제 도발자들은 위기의 순간에 보복의 불벼락을 면치 못할 것이다.
But is this talk of war for real, or a regime afraid for its own survival, playing a shadow game?
We may see a thermonuclear war. I'm sure it's not the North Koreans' plan to unleash that kind of a thing. But it might come to that as a result of a disastrous miscalculation.
We're flying into the strangest nation on Earth. Unstable, paranoid, aggressive. And after its latest nuclear test in February, even China, its old ally, voted against it at the UN. No wonder North Korea is fast running out of friends. Journalists are all but banned from North Korea, so I'm going in undercover, part of a tour group. Guide number 1. The regime's human face.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm glad to meet you here in Pyongyang.
It's immediately clear we've come to North Korea at an interesting time.
At the moment, the situation is very tense, as you know. Nobody knows when the war will provoke, but anyhow, we'll be safe in our country. You know, our boss has the mark, the Korean International Travel Company, so the Americans won't strike our boss.
Our guide number 2 says hello.
So, good afternoon, everybody. So, I'm a guide from KITC. So,
They were both our guides and also our ever-vigilant escorts. We're on an official 8-day tour, so the guides put us up in one of the top hotels in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Pity about the lights.
This is our hotel in the centre of Pyongyang. This is the toilet. There are no lights, extinct, with orders on board.
And here's the view outside the hotel. They're building a bank, night and day. Day and night.
It's now 4 in the morning. They never stop.
I'm told it's a joint venture with a Chinese bank, a rare sign of inward investment. First stop. This is tourism, Stalin style. Joining us today is the trip's official cameraman. He films us, we film him. He films us filming him. This is a controlled society, but what's the ideology behind it? The official video they made about the trip, with their words and music given to us at the end, provides a clue.
This is monument to party founding. It was erected in October 1995 to mark the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Workers' Party of Korea.
So there's the hammer, there's the sickle, and there's the paintbrush. Workers by hand and by brain. It feels like symbols of an old religion. The main square. Many see North Korea as a communist state. 1 year ago, Marx and Lenin still had pride of place. But this year on our trip, they've gone. Now you see them, now you don't. So what sort of system is this?
North Korea has a higher share of the population in uniform than Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy had until the Second World War. So I think it's much more accurate to look at North Korea as a far-right state, an ultra-nationalist state.
It is deeply racially biased. Koreans are taught that they are superior. Kim Jong-il was an unabashed admirer of Hitler and copied him quite consciously, down to details like the Nuremberg marches, which are staged in Pyongyang to this day.
At the mausoleum, tourists are banned from taking cameras in. Kim Il-sung has been dead these past 19 years, but he still calls the shots.
As far as I know, it's the only nation in the world ruled by a dead man. Generalissimo Kim Il-sung is still the leader of the country.
But he's a corpse.
I'm sorry, you don't understand the North Korean ideology, the religious nature of this. He is a kind of god. He lives eternally.
As does his son, Kim Jong-il, Kim too, who lies in his own glass box. When he died nearly 2 years ago, his younger son, Kim Jong-Un, then 28, took over the family firm. Kim III was schooled in Switzerland, became a general at 27, and has linked his star firmly to the military. So North Korea's ultra-nationalist, militaristic, and its leaders are gods. A worrying combination.
In North Korea, if you say the wrong thing, you will die. You will be sent to a political prison camp. Even if one knows, sees or hears something, one must pretend to be ignorant. Disagreement isn't an option. Disagreement means death.
The ideology may be terrifying, but does this place really work? At this bottling plant, on the production line, no production today. The military seems to work. On the road, anti-aircraft guns. Next, time to pay homage to Kim I. I bow. It's what's expected given the godlike status of the Kims. It's at the entrance of what we're told is a collective farm. You get the feeling this isn't an ordinary farm. I might be wrong. So where are the crops, the fields, the animals? Instead, propaganda drums out from loudspeakers all day long. So what about the farm workers? Where do they live? They show us a model house, complete with model family, model kitchen, and a fridge full of food. But this didn't seem to have anything to do with farming. Very much a real-life farming experience. Off to a spa hotel, set aside for the regime's worthies and foreigners like us. Breakfast in a gilded cage. We sneak out of our spa hotel. The barbed wire separates us from the locals. North Korea is one of the poorest places on earth. So, welcome to the real North Korea. Life is bleak here. No reliable power, No freedoms as we know them, not even to travel to the capital without permission.
Please don't take photos.
The more we see, the worse it gets. Our tour guides are anxious for us not to capture the poverty.
No photos, no photos.
Here, a woman washes clothes in an icy river. People scavenging in mud. And if this is a market, there wasn't much on sale. No smoke from this chimney. It looks as though it's been idle for some time. They take us to a showroom for this giant industrial complex. They make electricity generators here, they say. There goes the electricity again. We asked for a tour of the factories.
Now the Korean Peninsula's situation is getting worse and worse on the verge of Korean War. So they are now producing the military things. So they can't show the whole factory.
To us, they use the war as an excuse when things go wrong. Do they do the same with their own people?
When you talk to North Koreans about the state of their country, a lot of them recognize that North Korea is very backward and very poor. But they tend to blame that on outside interference, American sanctions, and indeed, if a light bulb blows in Pyongyang, people will say, blame America.
Day 4. It's good morning Pyongyang. Until we switch on the TV news.
조선인민군 최고 사령부는 지금 이 시각부터 미국 본토와 하와이, 감도를 비롯한 태평양군 작전 전구안의 미제 침략군 기지들과 남조선과 그 주변 지역의 모든 적 대상물들을 타격하게 된.
That very morning we cross into the DMZ, the de-militarized zone, where North Korea stops and South Korea starts.
포병부대들을 포함한 모든 야전 포병군 집단들을 1호 전투 군무 태세에 진입시키게 된다.
It's the most dangerous place on earth, some say. Our guide agrees.
This area is the battlefront, so be careful all the time. So do not use your camera.
This is what the fuss is all about, the border with South Korea. Today it doesn't feel like a battlefront. No movement, no maneuvers, no big guns. But the DMZ's history is at the root of the North's current paranoia about America. In 1950, North Korea, supported by Stalin and Mao, invaded the South. The Americans, the British and others helped the South fight back.
Bombardments by tanks, and here by Canadian gunners, have been effective in blasting the Reds from strong positions.
3 years later and 1 million dead, the border was back to where it had been, the 38th parallel. The two sides declared a ceasefire, but there's never been a peace treaty. Here, who started the war still matters. I ask if it might have been the North.
That's not true.
It's not true.
No, it's not true.
But is there going to be another one?
In Britain we're less afraid because we're further away.
Something gets lost in translation.
우리 전쟁 발생하게 될 시간이 빨리 가게 힘을 써서
지금 하나도 걱정하지 말라고 얘기했어요. 완전 따뜻한 바삭해지니까.
I'm hardened.
North Korea first tested a nuclear bomb 7 years ago. Now their latest propaganda claims their rockets could hit the US mainland.
인체 비유로 말하면 워싱턴 DC